is good shot. Oh my!
Here to celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the R. Hewitt Cup champions, are going to Coburn.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburn Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
The conference finals kicked off last week. Could the #1 seeds possibly go down? We got all the highlights coming right up. This is the OJ Today. Hey folks, I'm Alex Bashavansky, and yes, it's down to the final four now. The Pats, the Raiders, the Dukes, and the Tigers are the last teams standing. More on that in just a second. Also today, OJHL Images Director of Photography, Tim Bates, will join me to share some of his best pictures from throughout the season so far. OJ Images does absolutely incredible work, and if you haven't seen it yet, you're about to. But first, highlights. And in the Northeast, Wellington and Aurora squared off for the right to advance to the Buckland Cup final. Now, the Tigers worked hard all year to earn the #1 seed in the conference, but the playoffs, of course, are a whole different season, and the Dukes had every intention of taming the Cats. OJ Highlights now, brought to you by Cool Sports, official apparel provider to the OJHL. Okay, game one went in Aurora, and right away the Dukes showing absolutely no fear. Mitch Mendonca blocks the point shot off to the races. He gets hooked from behind, so the arm goes up. Penalty shot. Mendonca one-on-one with Bradley Van Schubert, and the Van Man wins this round as he keeps it out. Wellington does draw first blood, though. The point shot comes in, and Colin Doyle, my captain, with the tip. Dukes taking the early 1-0 lead. The Tigers throwing the body around. Tyler Davis lays a shellacking on Frank Pucci in the open ice. More from the Dukes. Nice passing here as Bryce Yetman sets up Pucci for the tip out front. 2-0 for the Dukes of Wellington. Midway through the frame, though, Tigers get one back. Mad scramble out front here, and Austin Eastman finally will fire it past Jonah Capriati as they cut the deficit to a single goal. Second period now, Aurora trying to equalize. Christian Monachino breaking in, denied though by Mr. Capriati. And third frame, more from Jonah. Austin Eastman, normally a lock from this close in, but Capriati shuts him down. And the Dukes waltz into Tiger Town and steal game one. Big effort by Wellington as they take a 1-0 series advantage. Okay, Patriots and Raiders. Game one from Westwood Arena. This was a wild one. Pats break the ice, 6:39 in. Evan Benwell slides it over for Anthony Corretto. And Toronto takes the 1-0 advantage. Troy Timpano on his game on this night for the Raiders. Coming up big to rob Oliver Benwell right there. Raiders even it up, though, right off the draw. It's a Big Mac attack. Matty McJanet. Tough season with injuries, but he's really picked it up in the playoffs and rounded into form. 1-1 game. Pats regain the advantage 2 minutes later, though. Heavy pressure in the Georgetown zone. Graham McLean floats one in from the point here, and it'll just find some daylight behind Timpano, and Tirana pulls ahead as they lead 2-1. Just before intermission, however, the Raiders hit back again. Fassel does what he can to make the initial stop. Josh Nixon there to clean up the garbage, though, and it's all tied up at 2 apiece at the break. Second period now. Timpano called upon again between the pipes as he stymies Josh Redinger. Glorious chance for G-Town here. McJanet unmarked in close. Looks like he just puts it right off the side of the net, though. And the puck stays out. Gorgeous passing for the Raiders on this play, though. Tic-tac-toe. And Jordan Crocker there to finish as he bulges the twine. And the visitors take their first lead of the game up 3-2. They nearly stretch it to 2 goals here. Scramble out front. Andrew Court right there, but just squeezes it wide of the post.
And the net comes off to freeze the play. Back at the other end, Timpano flashing the leather to deny Colton Kalizic. And then more excellence from the former Memorial Cup finalist with the Erie Otters as he makes 2 big stops. Finally, though, the Pats do break through. Lee Lapid will steal the puck in the Raiders' end. He gets it out front to Andrew Petrucci, and the regular season OJ scoring champ knots it up at 3 goals apiece. The final 20 minutes now, and the Pats think for a moment they've got one. Dante Spagnuolo close but no cigar as he rings it off the bar. Ultimately, though, they do get the winner with just 1:10 remaining. It's Dante's Inferno, as Anthony Regan likes to call him. Spagnuolo and the Pats take the lead 4-3, and that was enough on this night as the Patriots hold on for the win to take Game 1. Great Game 2, a fantastic back-and-forth affair. Game 2 scheduled for back in G-Town. That was 2 days later, coming up later in the show. Let's take a look at the final 10, the top 10 for the Scotiabank Fan Favorite Award. Voting is now closed. Jack Kabowski, Jackson Camp, Cal Walker, Jack Ricketts, and Justin Paul of the Georgetown Raiders. Also Ryan Bazana, Alex Daig of Mississauga, Tiger McDonald, and Jonah Capriotti, and Mitch Mendonca of the Wellington Dukes. The winner will be posted within the next few days. Head to ojhl.ca for that. OJ Trivia for this week. Who was just named the OJHL Defenseman of the Year? Who was it? The first correct answer to our Morocco at the ojhl.ca wins an OJ prize pack.
Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. After dropping the opener in the Southwest Final, Georgetown was looking to bounce back. Now, all year long, very little separated these two squads. They split their season series, and the Raiders actually managed to keep Toronto's high-flying offense in check in the process. And Gordon Alcott Arena has been like a fortress for the Raiders this season, and it continued to be so in Game 2.
Home ice has been very good to the Raiders in the playoffs. Just one loss up to this point in 6 games, and they hit first in this one. Bailey Malala parks himself out front, tips it home, 1-0 for the home squad. The Pats come right back, and it's up to Troy Timpano to come up big again. Play of the Week nominee as he gets down and dirty to rob Michael Bushi. And then off the mad scramble out front here, 2 big stops by Timpano to keep the Raiders lead intact. Second frame now, and it's Tyler Fassel coming up with one of the stops of the year. Raiders 2-on-1. Jordan Crocker to Zach Dybowski. Utter larceny by Mr. Fassel, though, and definitely worth another look to get you to truly appreciate it. Stretches to make the beautiful toe save there. G-Town does add a second midway through the frame. Austin Cho to Jason Smith. Smitty bang bang, as announcer Alan Corkum likes to say. The former Barrie Colt makes it 2-0 Raiders. The bad blood started to boil in the third. Timpano gets bowled over in the crease here by Kyler Matthews. May have gotten a bit of a push in his back, but still the Raiders don't like it. A bit of a pushy-shovey results afterwards. G-Town adds an extra insurance marker. Fassel will make the initial stop on Justin Paul. Zach Elson follows up. 3-0 Raiders. But 3-0 has been a frightening number for them when facing the Pats at home. Flashback. These teams played 2 games a week apart in February. Both times the Raiders led 3-0 in the third. Both times Toronto rallied back to tie it. So G-Town was trying to exercise a few demons here. And the Pats pulled Fassel for an extra attacker with 5 minutes left. It pays off with a goal. Colton Kalizic bangs it home in front to cut the deficit to 3-1 and get the hearts racing in Georgetown. But no big comeback this time. Jake Payette will intercept, and he puts it into the empty net for G-Town. Both teams would add another goal, but the end result was a 5-2 Raiders win, and they even up the series at a game apiece. Aurora in Wellington for Game 2 in front of a packed house at the Duke Dome, and it's the Tigers drawing first blood. Just a $1.44 in. Elijah Gonzalez knocks home the rebound, and it's 1-0 for the visiting squad. All Wellington from that point on, though. Gorgeous no-look feed from Mitch Martin to Teddy McGee out front. And 1,000 strong at the S-Rock Arena. We're loving it. All tied up at 1 apiece. Then the Duke steal. Bryce Yetman waltzes in. He will beat Jack Irvine. Yetman, he had a huge game, as you're about to see. Late in the frame, Bryce gets sprung on the break. He dekes Irvine out of his jock. And it's 3-1 Wellington after 20 minutes of play. Second period now, the Dukes stretch that lead to 3 goals. Mitch Mendonca hangs tight out front, takes a bit of abuse in the process, but as they say, the juice was worth the squeeze as he makes it 4-1 for the home squad, and they were keeping the Tigers' offense in check. Third period, though, the Cats do get one back. Elijah Gonzalez with the sneaky little pass from behind the net to Zach Wilkie, the pass fooling Capriati, who was looking the wrong way. 4-2 Dukes, but Bryce Yetman just too much to handle on this night. Frank Pucci sets him up. Yetman puts it home to complete the hat trick, and that made it 5-2 Dukes. They would add an empty netter as well to make it 6-2 and take a surprising, somewhat surprising 2-0 lead on the number 1 seed Tigers. Okay, the Raiders in Toronto for Game 3. Pats get the ball rolling in the first. Colton Kalizic and Andrew Bertucci play give and go. Kalizic puts home the return pass. 1-0 Toronto it is, and it's nearly 2 here. Max Rutledge right on the doorstep, but Troy Timpano says, I don't think so, buddy. Second stanza, G-Town equalizes. Jason Smith feeds Jordan Crocker and stir the pot. It's all tied up at 1 apiece. Zach Elson has been a monster for the Raiders in the playoffs. The D-man tied for the team scoring lead, and here with the wicked one-timer, it finds daylight, and Georgetown takes its first lead of the game, up 2-1. The Pats would equalize before the break, however. Nobody covers. Brett Bannister off to the side. In it goes, and it was 2-2 heading into the third period of play. Final 20 now, and the ice was still wet when Jake Payette sets up Justin Paul, and the former Milton Ice Sox goes roof daddy past Tyler Fassel, and G-Town retakes the lead. They're up 3-2, and then it's a Big Mac attack again. Matt McJanet out front, the one-timer, boom. And that gives the Raiders a bit of breathing room, up 4-2 with just over 5 minutes left. And Timpano shuts the front door from that point on. Nice stop here on Brett Bannister to seal the deal. So Georgetown hands the Patriots their first loss on home ice in the playoffs, and they take a 2-1 advantage in the Southwest Conference Final. Okay, a reminder, the first ever Zach Hyman Celebrity Classic comes up this summer in Aurora, taking place at Lebovic Golf Club on Monday, July 30th, in support of several youth charities, including Sick Kids Oncology and the OJHL Foundation. Meet lots of current and former Maple Leafs. Head to zachhyman.com for all the information. It's going to be a great event. And the OJDL, a reminder, will be going again this spring and summer. Lots of players have advanced on to the OJHL, and several have also been selected in the OHL draft. OJDL, PointStreakSites.com for all the information on the OJDL.
Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ today. And after months of trying, I'm a very happy guy to say that we've got the man, the legend, the director of OJHL Images, director of photography, Tim Bates, joining me via Skype. And we're going to go over and look at some great pictures today. Tim, thanks for making it on the show, buddy. I know you're a busy guy.
Thanks very much for having me, Alex. I appreciate it.
We are going to look, as I mentioned, at some great pictures that you guys have taken all season long, you and your very talented stable of photographers. But before we get to that, first, tell people who don't know what exactly OJHL Images is, because you're the guy who started it, and how this began in the first place.
OJHL Images started in 2012, and what we did is we took a concept to basically collectively put the fragmented photography efforts across the league into a professional system. And Our photographers shoot professional images. They're trained in a professional workflow management tool that allows them to take the various images, and we distribute them. I think we're the only league in North America that has a distribution similar to the National Hockey League and Getty Images, and certainly that's our benchmark. And we have a great partnership with our media partners who actually access our images as well for distribution. And all in all, it's the promotion of the players in the league. That's why we're here.
And you guys have been doing a great job so far. Let's talk about the first big event that happened this year. We're going to show some pictures from that now at the Governor's Showcase in Buffalo. There's the beautiful big rink that the Sabres play in. And yeah, we've got some fantastic shots here from the event. And this has become an essential event for scouts, both from the NCAA and the NHL, hasn't it?
It has. It's the one location geographically in the United States where all the NCAA teams come. Every National Hockey League team is represented, as well as a variety of different scouts from across North America and including Europe. And it's quite the event. And it's the actual KeyBank Center is the name rink in Buffalo.
Thank you. Thanks. You bailed me out, buddy. Thank you.
But it's quite the event, that's for sure. It's one geographical location. It's also a place where we do every single headshot of every player and staff member in the league. So it's quite a monumentous job for OJHL Images as well.
It is. Obviously, that would be a building that you love taking pictures in because of the lighting, and it's professionally set up. Without alienating any OJHL teams, because you're only going to mention a couple here, so 20 of them can't get too upset. But what would be two of the rinks that you really enjoy filming in the OHL, whether in the OJHL, whether it be due to the lighting, due to the proximity to the ice, and the players that you can get to? Which are your favorites?
Well, without question, I mean, the bowl atmosphere of a bowl seating and the newer arenas certainly provide us better access and different avenues and venues where we can shoot from. So certainly Cobourg, without question, is an amazing rink. Oakville has an incredible facility as well at 16 Mile there. Toronto Patriots have an excellent new system. And a number of teams this year have really improved their lighting, which makes our life a lot easier because we're looking for clean glass and good lighting, which is a photographer's dream.
Those are newer rinks, but you've got some fantastic shots from this next section here, which was the Eastern Canada Cup, which took place in Trenton back in the fall, which is essential, of course, to picking players for Team Canada East. Great pictures here. And that's an old barn in Trenton, but it looks like you got some great shots from this too.
Yeah, you know what, when you get to travel across the league, you learn your photo positions. We always mark our photo positions. I have to say we have an excellent relationships with the teams, and we have an excellent relationship with the arena staff. We get to know them, they get to know us. A lot of trust is built in there, and they allow us access to the ice to clean the glass and perhaps encroach a little more than we should, but that's the mark of an excellent photographer to be able to do that.
Now, who are some of the guys who were, for example, in Trenton, because this wasn't you by yourself in Trenton, you had a crew there, didn't you, that weekend getting shots of all these guys?
We did. We have a scheduling coordinator who is Ray McAloney. He schedules our photographers who all apply for different assignments. My photo editor is Sean Muir, and my logistical coordinator is Andy Corno. We're blessed with having 22 photographers, and our photographers in OJHL Images range from guys shooting in the National Hockey League. Kevin Souza is on staff with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was a former OJHL Images. As a matter of fact, is still credentialed with us. When he's available, he will shoot some games. And Tim Ludwig in the United States is with USA Today, and a variety of our guys. So we have, from amateurs to professionals, we're really blessed to have a great core of photographers.
Absolutely. Let's move on to, well, a huge event that took place this year in Mississauga. We hosted, the league hosted the CJHL Top Prospects game. And you got some great shots here. We're looking at one of my personal heroes there, Wendell Clark, and Rick Vive, 50 goal man from the 80s for the Leafs. They were guest coaches, of course, for this game. Really some great shots. Funny one from the Patriots here. You mentioned this was in the pre-game NHL Central Scouting, where they do some testing on the players. Colton Kalizic apparently took a little bit of a wipeout there after this picture was taken. You had a good little chuckle over that. And the man, of course, who a lot of the scouts were there to see, Jack McBain, projected first-round pick. Great shot of him there as well. Prospects game. How do you like shooting the old Mississauga barn there?
You know what, aesthetically, it's one of the most beautiful rinks that we have the opportunity in there. You get so busy, you have such a timeline, you have such deadlines. There's a lot of technical operations that have to happen, but I can tell you when you walk into that rink, it really does take your breath away when you have the opportunity to look around. Not to mention the fact this year is the first year at any CJHL Prospects game that our league took a kind of an innovative step. They had banners.
Yes.
These are 12-foot banners that hang from the ceiling. They're 6 feet wide, 12 feet long, and that was every single player that was playing in the Prospects had an individual banner that was hung from the rafters of the facility. So it was an exceptionally classy move and went over so well with the players. And I was really proud because a lot of those banners were taken by our photographers.
Absolutely. They looked first class. And the last thing we're going to look at, we've only got about 30 seconds here, Tim. It's just some shots from the playoffs. We've had them flipping here. And I love the warm-up shot there in the Hall in Newmarket. That looks great. We're going to skip ahead real quick to the shot of the great Tyler Fassel save. That was just the other day. You were standing right next to me shooting that. I've got the video. You've got the still photograph. Great stop by Tyler Fassel there. But it's when you can capture those moments, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely. We say that what our whole purpose is and our kind of mission statement is to chronicle the journey, the junior hockey journey of these athletes. And they are elite athletes. And you know what? We're constantly in awe of their athleticism and their abilities on the ice. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of and witness. And we enjoy the relationship we have with our players.
Awesome. Listen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, Tim. I will see you out there at the rink, and we'll definitely do this again with you on the show next year.
Thanks very much for having me, Alex. A pleasure.
Right, more OJ Today coming up in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ Today. And Game 3 was a pivotal one for the Aurora Tigers. Now, it wasn't all that surprising that the Wellington Dukes had taken a game off them in the Northeast Conference Final, but both Wellington held a 2-0 series lead and were coming off a 6-2 blowout over the top-seeded Tigers. So the Cats had to bounce back on Tuesday night or risk falling into the abyss of a 3-0 series hole.
A bit of desperation in this game for the Cats. Pretty much a must-win, but it was a scary start for them.
Pitches. Here's the chance at a breakaway. And on the goaltender, a 3-on-none. Oh, what a save. What a breakdown by Aurora. What the heck was that?
Yeah, good question, Kevin Dean. 3-on-none. But it's Aurora that hits first. Joseph Mitzi on the rush over to James Thompson, and the big man makes it 1-0 for the Tigers. And then it's Brock Welsh. This looked harmless as he will just pick it up, spin, fire, but the shot takes a deflection off a stick, and the Cats take a 2-0 advantage. Wellington cuts the deficit in half before intermission. Mitch Martin back for Teddy McGean, and boom, and it goes. And it was 2-1 at the break. Second period now, Jack Irvine looking solid between the pipes for Aurora. A couple of big stops here to keep the Cats in the lead. And then midway through the frame, Elijah Gonzalez does some nice work here as he will just pick it up and eventually pump it past Jonah Capriati. Tigers going up by a 3-1 count. Back to Irvine. Massive pressure by the Dukes here, but they just can't put it past the Aurora keeper, who jumps on it and covers up. The Cats' offense that had been dormant the first two games was definitely clicking on this night. Evan Bedenti picks it up, shelves it over the shoulder of Capriati. 4-1 Aurora after 40, and then it was Irvine once again in the third coming up. Absolutely huge.
Aurora 4, Wellington 1. Carlisle shot high and wide. Oh my! Great save! Somebody call the cops! He just robbed Wellington. Oh baby, what a save by Irvine!
Kevin Dean with the call. One of the best saves of the year there. And at the 9:20 mark, Jake Bricknell gets it to Anthony Romano. 5-2 Tigers, and then another beauty by the Cats.
Comes Romano down the right side of net. Goes wide. Scott Eastman with him. Eastman now. Nice move by Eastman. Might try to jam it home. Scores! Roll the highlight film. Put the nail in the coffin. Austin Eastman. How do you do?
Austin Eastman painting a portrait. The Tigers get back on track as they take Game 3 6-2 to pull within a game. It was a hungry Patriots team in Game 4 looking to even up their series with Georgetown. 2:18 in, they hit Nicholas Favaro, the point shot. It beats Troy Timpano, and 1-0 for Tirana. 7 minutes later, the keeper does what he can, but nobody clears out Evan Benwell, and in it goes. And a great start for the Pats as they lead 2-0. The Raiders snake-bitten on the night. Case in point, Andrew Court right on the doorstep. Puck hops over top of his stick, though. Can't convert. Timpano holding the fort as well as he can at the other end. Quick reflexes here to stymie Andrew Petrucci. He might on this one back, though. Second period, Patriots power play. Galizic with a wrister that somehow finds its way through the keeper. And 3-0 Toronto. Raiders still offensively stifled. The scramble in front of Tyler Fassel here, they just can't seem to do anything with it, though. Third period, this sums up the Raiders' night. They almost outshot the Pats by a 2-1 margin. At times, it was like they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Smith blasting it just wide. When they did hit, 40 shots, mind you, Fassel there to deny them time and time again. Big stop right there on Bailey Malala. Georgetown pulls Timpano for an extra attacker. Trying to get something going. Jackson Alexiev, though, puts this baby to bed. 4-0 it ends up as the Patriots even the series back up after 4 games. Game 5 going at Westwood Arena on Saturday. Okay, quick alumni update. Dylan Secure, as we mentioned, had signed with Chicago. He previously played for the Aurora Tigers. Made his NHL debut with Chicago back on March 29th. Had a heck of a start. 2 points in his very first game. And he's now actually got 3 points in his first 3 NHL games. Congrats, Dylan, on the fantastic start. Top 5 for this week brought to you by Chaos Hats, the official hat provider to the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Number 5, the Raiders with some wicked passing in Game 3 against the Pats. Tic-tac-toe, Jordan Crocker with the finish behind Tyler Fassel. Number 4, Dukes and Tigers in Game 2. Mitch Martin, the sweet no-look backhand pass out front to Teddy McGean, who puts it home. Number 3, what a solo effort by Austin Eastman here. And watch it as he goes through the legs, around the nets, and in past Jonah Capriati as the Tigers took Game 3 against the Dukes. Number 2, the goalies stole the show this week. Tyler Fassel against Georgetown in Game 2. The Pats keeper getting down and dirty to rob Zach Dybowski. That had Dybo shaking his head. Number 1, almost identical to number 2, but may have been a touch better. Jack Irvine on Mason Snell. I'm still blown away by this one. It may end up being the OJ Save of the Year. Utter larceny, and that is our Chaos Play of the Week.
And we've got to run all out of time for this week, but remember to keep up to date with the OJHL playoffs, all your news, stats, and up-to-date game scores. You can always head to ojhl.ca. And of course, you've got all your social media options to check out there as well. Thank you for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you next week.